What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 7 of Let's Talk Wrestling. I do apologise, it's not a cinematic masterpiece or anything, not exciting visually, there's nothing going on because my setup is a mess. I'm trying to organise stuff, which you will see in a video in hopefully the coming days, but yeah, thought I'd just sit down and talk about some stuff that's happened recently because I'm trying to upload twice a week and it's Sunday now, so it's got to go out tonight, so just do something that I can just sit down and talk about. So yeah. Once again in this series I am going to be talking about Vince McMahon because he's obviously a hot topic, especially as of late. Well, he always has been, but as of late for obvious reasons. So his case is closed, or is it? Not really. But yeah, he released a statement on Twitter, or X if you want to call it that, that reads, "The case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I am thrilled that I can now put all of this behind me." Scumbag is what I'm taking from that. And he's clearly trying to paint a different narrative to what has actually happened, pretty much. Which isn't uncommon. Obviously, he's trying to save face and he's trying to get some good publicity out there because he's trying to frame it as he's been cleared of everything. This is one case. This is not the Janelle Grant case, which is the main one, let's be clear, the one involving John Laurinaitis and Brock Lesnar. So this does not mean in any way, shape or form that a Brock Lesnar return will happen anytime soon. Same with Vince McMahon. Neither of those are going to happen because that case is not closed, and you've got to assume when it does, it's not going to be the most positive for old Vinnie Mac. But yeah, this one, I don't know if it's in favour. He has had to pay a settlement cost for this. It's basically like hush money payments, payoffs that he didn't report in like company accounts, which he says are personal payments. And it was just like the revenue percentages were slightly off because of these payments and stuff like that. They were too high because they weren't reported on the tax sheets or whatever it is. I don't really know, but basically he hasn't reported the hush money payments because sort of why would you? And now he's had to pay a settlement fee in court to the SEC or whoever it is to make up for it. And he's obviously, him and his old team and whatever are trying to paint this as a win when it isn't. It sort of just proves that he's done something wrong because he made these payments and he tried to keep them like private, secret, you know, so that obviously leads to something being a little bit off. And obviously this isn't the Janelle Grant case, which is the most egregious one of all of them, the one involving Brock Lesnar, as I've said. So no Brock Lesnar. This does not mean Brock Lesnar will be returning. You won't see him at the Royal Rumble. I can only assume. I mean, obviously I could be wrong about this because I don't know the whole ins and outs, but I'm going to assume that he won't be because he isn't cleared of anything. And neither is Vince McMahon. This does imply that he's guilty and isn't a good sign for him for the next round of cases. You know, with the even worse ones, he's likely to have to pay more money, or, well, he's probably not going to go to prison, is he? He's a billionaire. But whatever. It's not going to be good for him. But it's obvious that they are trying to paint a picture that he is innocent. You know, we've seen this in other places, you know, like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, their cases. It was like reported or sort of common knowledge, or you'd hear people saying like he's innocent, stuff like that. He isn't. He won like a defamation case that he had against her for things she'd said and like, what's the word? Can't remember what the word is, but like things she said he's done. Cannot remember what the word is. I keep forgetting. But yeah, he won like a defamation case. He didn't win a domestic violence case because he battered her. That did happen. It was just that she battered him as well, or something. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of that, but a lot of people now see Johnny Depp as innocent when he isn't at all, which I'm assuming is the sort of thing they're going with Vince, because they're now saying the case is closed, and he ends the statement saying, "I'm thrilled that I can now put all this behind me." He shouldn't be able to, and he won't be able to. Hopefully, you know, there's some reports that he's starting his own company to challenge WWE. That's not going to happen. I know he's rich and he's just made $9 billion off of the TKO merger, but that is not going to happen. You've got to assume. And you know, he's not out of the woods at all. There's nothing he's putting behind him except a good public image, which he put behind him probably about 30 years ago, to be fair, 25 years ago, but even more so now, because obviously everyone knows him for what he is. You'd think. I know a lot of people are still on his side because, you know, he did a lot for wrestling, stuff like that. Same with Brock Lesnar. Oh, he's good at wrestling. He's an attraction. That doesn't mean you should bring him back, you know, and I don't think they will. I don't think they need to. WWE is in a better place than they've been for probably the last 15 to 20 years. 20 years, I would say, not even 15. At least 20 years, obviously. In recent years, the viewers are declining on, like, regular TV, like on Raw and SmackDown, but no one watches TV as it happens anymore. That's not a thing that really happens. Streaming has taken over. That's why WWE moved to Netflix. They did huge numbers on Raw. I mean, they've made $5 billion on it. They're going to be raking it in. They've got sponsors everywhere. You know, they've got more eyes on the product than ever before. They are not in a place where they need Brock Lesnar to be a draw anymore, as with Vince McMahon. They don't need Vince McMahon. They don't need Brock Lesnar. And that's where it's going to be left, I'd assume. They don't need to do any of that, and they won't, because even if it was at a point where they could right now, they can't, because the actual case that ties every one of these people in, and, you know, Vince McMahon's worst case and the one involving Brock Lesnar, nothing about that has been solved, and when it is, you've got to assume it's not going to be good for Vince. So this is, in my opinion, just a sort of cover-up statement. You know, he's trying to look as though he's innocent, and some people will believe it. You know, they'll think, all right, the case is closed. And they'll just believe that in the end there was never anything more to this than a minor accounting error, or as today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. No, not really. It doesn't prove anything. I mean, if you look at the statement that he made, if you look at the comments, it's pretty one-sided and like not believing him at all, which is how it should be, really. You know, you'll get some people who do think, oh, it's Vince. He is undoubtedly the most impactful person in the history of wrestling. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, he changed the business entirely. You know, you don't know where it'd be right now. Kayfabe might still be alive, for one thing. But I mean, you can't say that, really. You can't guarantee that, but I don't know. Things would be very different, obviously, but things would also be very different if he did all of that stuff, but he wasn't a massive sex pest and a felon, you know? So, could be better if he wasn't, you know? He might have spent more time and effort on shows and book things a bit better and not be a massive creep and just make some really weird TV, like his daughter being pregnant with his kid. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with Vince. There always has been. But it's definitely not over. The case is not closed. A case is closed, sure. Did it rule in his favour? No. And, you know, it didn't rule in his favour. The next one definitely won't rule in his favour, and it's the main one. I mean, I don't know how long that'll be, but yeah. There's nothing about this statement or anything that has happened that would lead me to believe he can put all this behind me. The only thing he can put behind it is a career in professional wrestling, you know, public appearances, being alive probably soon. You know, he's getting up there. He's nearly 80, isn't he? Or is he 80? He's like 78, 79. So, I mean, he looks frail and old, even though he's just dyed his hair black and grown out a pedo stash. Really weird choice, by the way. Still don't understand that decision, but yeah. That's pretty much all of my thoughts on Vince McMahon. Hasn't changed anything, I think. If anything, it's just made it worse because he's trying to spin this in a good way for himself and seem like he isn't a scumbag when he quite clearly is. And, you know, but at the end of the day, some people will believe him. A lot of people won't. You'd hope, at least. But yeah, that's the way I see it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And yeah, please do like the video if you've enjoyed. If you hate Vince McMahon as well, subscribe to the channel with your post notifications on. You will be updated on all my uploads. As I said, I'm going for 2 every week. 2 uploads a week. Uploading shorts every day still. Just 1 a day. At least until like the end of January. After that, I don't know. I might carry on, might mix it up with what I do and stuff. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Please do all of that good stuff if you have. And I'll see you next time. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments section. Let me know any other videos you'd like to see or any other topics you would like to see me cover in this series of Let's Talk Wrestling. I am planning to do one on the Saudi Royal Rumble, which will take place next year. I want to cover that. I want to research it a little bit more. Might do one about WrestleMania in general, you know, WrestleMania season, the Royal Rumble, any stuff like that, what you think. John Cena's farewell tour as well. I have done a fantasy booking video. I'll leave it up here. It's a 2-parter. So, you know, you might have watched the first one and missed the second, or you might have watched the second and missed the first. So, or you might have missed both. So yeah, go and watch those if you haven't already. I hope you enjoy, and hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.